What's going down, people? What's going down on this beautiful Saturday morning? Been seeing some shit on social media and felt it needed to be addressed. I've kind of touched on it in the Plan B series, but highly contested, especially with all the shit that's going on right now with the Second Amendment and everything else, is going to be carrying concealed weapons. You got to know the how, the when, the why, and your purpose for doing so. I highly encourage it to anyone that's willing to get the training, become very, very proficient in it, and know when and why to use it. So what you have to understand is, even for me as a law enforcement professional, I run the risk when I carry concealed that if something happens, someone in a uniform that I don't know is going to respond or going to witness something going down, and I may end up on the business end of one of my brother or sister's weapon. So you have to take that into consideration. When it comes to carrying concealed, there's a lot of responsibility that comes with it. Just for the plain and simple fact that if you are only carrying a firearm, you're already wrong. Coupled with concealed carry, you should have a good folding knife. You should have an IFAC, some kind of gloves, tourniquet, chest seal, bandage within reach. I know that Mike and his crew over at Fieldcraft, they have it's almost like an ankle wrap that you wrap around when you're wearing pants. But even if you have a med kit in the car with you or something like that, at very minimum, have a tourniquet on you if you're carrying a weapon, because if you do happen to use a weapon in self-defense, you do have a responsibility to render aid when it's safe to do so, So everyone's determination will be different when it comes to when it's safe to do so, because of your level of training, your level of experience, so on and so forth. But you always want to have that available to you. Along with, you have to take into consideration, in law enforcement, when we leave, we go out the gate, I make sure all my guys have everything they're going to need. They got cuffs, they got less than lethal options, whether it be a taser, spray, baton, or otherwise. They've got radio communications, they got extra batteries, they got cell phones, they got chargers, everything available to them. So when something happens, somebody's coming right now, direct communication. When you're concealed carrying, you're not wearing body armor, you're not carrying handcuffs, you don't have any kind of less than lethal. These are all, I don't want to say negatives, but they all count against you being successful if you don't use your head. Because you have to gameplay stuff in your head when you are carrying concealed, that should you have to draw and engage a suspect and the suspect immediately complies, the threat stops. They no longer are a threat. They drop the weapon, whatever it may be. What do you do now? How do you contain that person until law enforcement gets there? When law enforcement gets there, how do you not end up with a police officer or deputy sheriff's gun pointed at you, because now you're the one with the gun in your hand? So that's what I wanted to address here today. So if you guys are seriously considering carrying concealed, I would encourage it. But like I said, you have to get the right training. You have to get good training, not Joe shit the rag man from down the block that does concealed carry courses. And stay off of some of these pages here on YouTube. I ran into a post from a retired Navy SEAL last night that said some really disgusting stuff. And now I consider him a very large piece of shit in life, and I don't give a fuck about his service anymore, because he said some shit and bulked a bunch of people into one group, and for all I care, the dude's a pile. He probably been fucking page 11, fucking ninja punched. Dude, he's probably got a whole host of shit on his military record. And I'd love to see fucking how many nip locks he's gotten, because it looks like he has a real problem with authority. But neither here nor there, without getting on a soapbox, that dude can go fuck himself and his dipshit tactical page, because I'm gonna make sure that everybody knows the fucking character behind that man. I don't give a fuck how many times he's been down range, because the post he put up yesterday should seriously concern you by the stuff that he said, and Those are the dudes that if I was the government, I'd be looking at dudes like that. I'd be looking at dudes like that going, this dude might be of a domestic brand. But I don't throw that around lightly. Some of y'all may have seen the post and went, what the fuck? So back at it. If you're going to carry a concealed weapon, you need to have at least one extra magazine. If you're carrying a concealed weapon, even a 1911, you must have a round chambered. Do not carry a fucking firearm without a round in the chamber. It is not practical. If you're carrying a 1911, round chambered, cocked and locked. That is the only safe way to carry a 1911. I don't give a fuck what anybody tells you. Trust me. We can walk down that path should we need to, but a round chambered, you're not going to have time when it comes to a incident where you got to defend yourself, someone else in imminent life-threatening danger, or your family around you to chamber a round. It's just, you have to use your head, folks. You're going to want to carry a tourniquet, an IFAC. Some of y'all know what that is, but if you go over to Mike Glover's page with Fieldcraft Survival, they've got different medical kit options as well as training to know how to use them. If you have to use deadly force on an individual, you have an inherent duty to render aid when it's safe to do so. That's going to depend on your level of experience and training. Everybody's comes from a different background, has different levels of training and experience. So, but you want to have that on you to where when it does go to court, you notice how I say when it does go to court, because you are going to get civilly sued. You don't look like an individual that was just out there looking to cause hate and discontent with a firearm, and that when you did use it defensively, you were prepared with the proper tools, supplies, and equipment to be able to render aid to make sure that that individual was around to face the consequences legally of what they did that caused you to use that level of force. So we talked about it in the Plan B video, whether it's a weapon light or a flashlight, always have a light available to you. Make sure that your equipment is in good working order. It's clean, it's functional. Make sure you do a functions test at least once every 30 days or after you do complete breakdown for cleaning because you're at the range. For those of y'all that don't know what a functions test is, you need to start over, get through some training, be able to go through a familiarization course with your weapon so you can properly disassemble, clean, and know the nomenclature and how that firearm is going to be functional for you when you're on the field so you can rely upon it. Good holster. You're going to want something that has good retention depending on where you're carrying it, whether it's appendix, off the hip, small of the back. I'm not going to get into what I prefer, but just you have to understand that you have to be able to defend that weapon. Fucking concealed carry, shirts come up, whatever it may be. Ladies, you're carrying it in a purse. You got to be able to keep that purse on you at all times, especially if you got kids. It all comes down to accountability of that firearm, where it's at, how quickly you can get to it, can anybody else access it. So I always tell people it is always good to have it on your person at all times. The only time you can go code white, you're at the house, everything's locked down for the night, you can secure it, do what you need to do with it, sit back and relax. Otherwise, when you're outside the house and you got that firearm on you, you are always an asset to good people when evil arises. Understand that. So it comes into tactical considerations, and you have to think with your head. You have to look at certain situations and setups and say, okay, this would be tactically sound, not sitting with your back towards a door when you're in a restaurant. Understanding where the emergency exits are at when you go into a building. Planning it out. What do I do if this goes down here? How do I get my kids and myself out of the situation? Don't be a hero unless you're forced to be a hero. Especially if you got anybody you love with you, that's the last thing you want to do is put them in a situation that could get them hurt. So as a concealed carry individual, you are going to be a good witness, and you're only going to engage if the threat is directed towards you or your immediate family. Otherwise, you're going to have a plan to move out of a situation and be a good witness. Law enforcement professionals were a little bit different, but neither here nor there. You got to survive the encounter. So get into that training. You want to have good situational awareness when you're walking out to your cars, trucks, whatever it may be. Who's around, who's sitting in vehicles, what vehicles have been there for a while, who's lingering around outside of entrances, what are they doing, what are they watching. Be aware of these situations so that when you do move from point A, which is the front door of a business to your vehicle, you can get into that vehicle without becoming involved in a contact. You see what I'm saying? Don't sit in your car. As soon as you get into that car turns on, lock the doors, move. The biggest target you can present on yourself is when you sit in the car, because most people, when they get in, they don't lock the doors on their car because they're used to dropping it into the drive, and that's when the doors will lock. They want to sit and look at their phone. Ladies are especially bad with it, walking out to the parking lot with their face buried in a phone, trying to figure out what they got to do next, who's texting them, Mom, where you at? I got it. You have to leave that fucking phone alone. It's in your bag, it's in your pocket, whatever it may be. When you get into the car, pay attention to what is going on around you until you get mobile. Once you get mobile and out of the area you're in, go. This is going to be especially important because the stuff that you're going to be doing in these times is you're going to be going to stores. You're going to be picking stuff up. There's going to be people focused on these locations because they need what you have. You have money, you just bought stuff. They don't have money, they need the stuff you bought. Or you're pulling in, they know you're going to go inside and you have money and they're going to try to get you on your way in. Pay attention. If you see shit and it says that doesn't look right, trust your instinct. Don't go into a business if you see something and say, hey, there's some unsavory characters, the vehicle activity outside of this business, something doesn't add up. You got that boo-boo Scooby-Doo, hairs popping up on the back of your neck and on your arms, just don't feel right. Go. Drive away. Trust it. That shit is there for a reason. It's called instinct. Trust it. You know the neighborhoods in which you live in. You know which times shit gets sporting, which times the freaks come out at night. So make decisions. If you need to get shit done, you need to get it done between this hour and this hour. It's called tactical considerations for moving about your daily life. Do not put yourself at undue risk needlessly. Sometimes you can't avoid it. You got to get medicine. You got to grab stuff. And the fucking time does not fit where you would normally do this. But you have to use your fucking heads. Why? Because as the wheels fall off of this bus and people become more desperate, they're going to do desperate shit. And when you're driving, doors locked. You pull up at stoplights, pay attention to what's going on around you. Pay attention to who is looking at you in other cars. And I've taught this to trainees over years and years and years. Pull up at a stoplight, look around. And I'll demonstrate. I go, if I had a gun in my hand right now, and I pressed it up against this door because I got dirt bags in the car next to me and they're eyeing me, is there a possibility those dirt bags could be doing the exact same thing and we got guns pointed at us? And that puckers up a lot of brand new cops' assholes. You have to understand that there's a lot of guns out in this community already. A lot of them aren't legally possessed, and criminals aren't going to obey the law. So when they get desperate, they need money, they need food, you are going to be a prime target because you are going to have both. Hopefully you have the firearm to defend yourself should you need it. But it's what it is, and I want you guys to start thinking in that tactical mindset of looking, evaluating your environments, making decisions of, hey, this isn't looking right. I'm going to go to another store across town. All stuff to think about, folks. All stuff to think about, because when you need a law enforcement professional with a firearm, and seconds matter, we're minutes away. There's not enough of us. And we've seen that certain individuals are so hampered by what the media thinks of them and so afraid to do anything because they don't want to end up on World Star, YouTube, or the evening news. They might not be any good to you anyways. And some of us, we don't give a fuck. Put me on video. I don't give a fuck. I'm going to do what I got to do. I was looking for a job when I found this one. I'm going to do what I got to do. I'm going home to my family. You can bet on that. Too many people are missing that mindset now. If you're going to carry a firearm concealed, you need to have the right stuff on you. Just like I said, you need to have some medical supplies. You need to have extra magazine, flashlight. Be prepared for what you're about to do. When you go out, it's not going to be comfortable because you're going to have shit with you. The longer you do it, the more comfortable you're going to be with carrying what you have to carry and how you carry it. But in the beginning, it's going to feel cumbersome. You're going to have to figure out what works best for you, and then get used to where that stuff's at. Get used to being able to draw and present that pistol from wherever you may have it without looking. And this is what Rod was talking about on the space call last night. Like, hey, I practice my draws. I practice shouldering a rifle. I practice this. I practice that. Why? Because now it's muscle memory. You got your eyes on a threat, and you immediately can go engage the target. He complies. Now, without taking your eyes off the target, you can go back into a holster without looking. Or you engage the target, you get off the X, because the X is the last place they saw you when you shot at them or shot them. Tactical mag change, the pistol's going to come up in front of your face. You're looking through your pistol at your suspect that's either down or on the move. You're going to do your mag change, and you're going to get back on target. Always keep your eyes on what's going on, because this is not the movies. When someone gets shot, it's not the movies. There's numerous individuals that have been shot by either people concealed carry or law enforcement professionals that have been shots that neutralize that suspect, that have gone 2, 3, 4 minutes after being shot before they were no longer in the fight. You have to understand that just because you put rounds in someone doesn't mean the fight's over. The fight's over when the threat is no longer there, which means the weapon's not in their hand, which means they're no longer able to manipulate whatever it was they were doing to cause hate and discontent or to try to end your life. So you have to use your head, you got to use your eyes, you have to be prepared to act, and then do not fucking hesitate. You don't draw the weapon and present that weapon until it's time to go to work. It's not the movie. Stop, freeze. No, that shit don't work. That weapon comes out when it's time to go bang, bang. You guys get it? You already have your requirements met. They're presenting whatever threat it may be. It's imminent. Someone is about to be seriously injured or die if I don't intervene. Or this individual is threatening my life or the life of my family. Right now, if I don't act, they're going to die. I'm not going to give him a warning. I'm coming straight out of the holster, and I'm center punching him. He's taking rounds right now. I'm not going to sit there and argue with him and talk to him at gunpoint. That shit doesn't work. That's only in the movies. Fuck that noise. Present, drop, the threat no longer exists. Get off the X. Then call the police. Let them know I'm so-and-so. This is what I'm wearing. And this individual attacked me. Make sure that me and my people know who you are and you're the good guy before we scream up on scene. Lights and siren with our guns out, who's who in the zoo. Because me as a law enforcement professional, if I'm off duty and I'm plain clothes, when I call it in or I scream someone else to call it in, I'm an off-duty law enforcement official. This is what I'm wearing. I'm a white male, approximately 6'2", 225 pounds with this clothing description on. I have one at gunpoint. I need medical. I have a suspect down. That comes through on the radio on the other end. That way, if I'm the cop that's responding to that, I'm rolling up on scene going, okay, I have a law enforcement official out on this. He just dumped someone. This is what he looks like. This is what he's wearing. Medical's en route as well, so I don't accidentally T-bone a fucking ambulance trying to get there, because shit does happen when you start fucking getting into the code 3 mentality, and younger guys understand that. But most of us old dudes, we're cruising. We prefer not to turn the lights and siren on, because then most of y'all, oh my God, it's the cops, and you guys do stupid shit in front of us. But so without taking this any further, because I just took up 18 minutes of you guys' day, I felt that needed to be addressed, because everyone wants to demonize concealed carry, Second Amendment rights, your ability to protect you and yours, and I don't think that should be like that. I think that's wrong. But I want you guys to have the knowledge moving forward, so that if and when you guys do concealed carry, you guys will do it correctly, and no one will be able to talk shit based on what you do and what you say, because you have that knowledge and education in your head. Because some dude with a 70s porn stash and half a head of hair told you however many years ago this is how he does it and has survived 25 years, and that's how you should do it now. So if you guys have any questions, hit me up with email, DM, or whatever. I hope you guys are having a glorious Saturday, enjoying the weekend. I'll be on and off Twitter, pretty much all weekend, having a good time with y'all. So I will catch y'all next time. Mr. Elk Spaghetti, signing off.